Yes, so now we are discussing about economic terms. In that, today we are discussing about aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is a measurement of the total amount of demand for all finished goods and services produced in an economy. Aggregate demand is expressed as the total amount of money exchanged for those goods and services at a specific price level and point in time. And the next point is, what is an example of aggregate demand? Aggregate demand, however, finds the total sum of market for every single product and service that an economy produces and expresses. It is a total dollar value. For example, a country could have an aggregate demand for goods and services equal to $1 billion per year. And the next point is, what is aggregate demand and why it is important. Aggregate demand is a means of looking at the entire demand for goods and services in an economy. It is a tool for macroeconomics used to help determine or predict overall economic strength within a country in a given period of time, usually a year. And next point is, how do you calculate aggregate demand? The five components of aggregate demand are consumer spending, business spending, government spending, and exports minus imports. The aggregate demand formula is AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. And the next point is, what causes increases in aggregate demand? Average demand increases when the components of aggregate demand, including consumption spending, investment spending, government spending, and spending on exports minus imports rise. And the next point is, how does aggregate demand help the economy? Shifts in the aggregate demand curve. Lower interest rates, which makes borrowing cheaper. Therefore, people spend more on credit cards. Also, mortgage payments are cheaper, which gives people more disposable income, higher wages, lower taxes. And next point is, what is aggregate demand and explain its components. Aggregate demand means the total demand for final goods and services in an economy. It is the total expenditure of all the units of an economy, that is, households, firms, government, and the rest of the world. And next point is, what is formula of demand? It is a standard form a linear demand equation is Q is equal to A minus BP. That is, quantity demanded is a function of price. The inverse demand equation or price equation treats price as a function of quantity demanded. P is equal to F of Q. And the next point is, what are the 7 determinants of demand? Price of product. The single most impactful factor on a product demand is the price. Tastes, the preferences, consumer tastes and preferences have a direct impact on the demand for consumer goods. Consumers' income, availability of substitutes, number of consumers in the market, consumers' expectations, elasticity versus what are the 4 basic laws of supply and demand. If the supply increases, next point is, if the supply increases and demand stays the same, the price will go down. If the supply decreases, the demand stays the same, the price will go up. If third point is, if the supply stays the same and demand increases, the price will go up. If the supply stays the same and demand decreases, the price will go down. What are the elements of demand? Essential elements of demand are quantity, ability, willingness, prices, and period of time. Own price is the most important determinant of demand. When the price of a commodity falls, its demand rises, and when its own price rises, its demand falls. This is the information regarding aggregate demand.